If you think animated shows are just harmless, feel-good cartoons, think again. These are the most unhinged animated series I've ever watched, and they get progressively more chaotic. First up, Archer. This is corporate dysfunction disguised as a spy agency. It's what happens when a group of functional alcoholics use their genius-level intellect to settle workplace beef in the most diabolical ways possible. Unlike James Bond, the suave, hyper-competent spy he's loosely based on Sterling Archer is a reckless, arrogant, emotionally stunted disaster with severe mommy issues, who somehow succeeds through blind luck and sheer audacity. The writing is lightning fast and packed with obscure references from the 18th century poetry to the 19th century French officer who invented the mugshot. You can rewatch episodes 5 times and still catch new jokes. And the running gags are elite, like Archer's elaborate voicemail pranks to his mother. Unlike most action spies who walk away from explosions with perfect hearing, the team suffers from chronic tinnitus. Archer and his coworkers are constantly yelling "what" because their ears are ringing. It's such a consistent detail that the American Tinnitus Association actually thanked the creators for the awareness. And the side characters are just as unhinged. Lana is hyper competent and somehow still chooses to date chaos. Mallory runs the agency like a Cold War dictator with a permanent martini in her hand. Krieger is a possible Hitler clone who treats science like a morally flexible hobby. Pam evolves from mild-mannered HR into an underground fighting menace. Cheryl or Carol thrives on danger. And even Cyril, the normal accountant, slowly unravels. No one stays sane. Because beneath the espionage and explosions, Archer is really just a toxic workplace comedy where everyone is wildly overqualified and deeply dysfunctional. Next up, Inside Job. The premise: every conspiracy theory is real. This is a workplace comedy about a dysfunctional team of shadow government agents secretly running the world. But what makes it truly unhinged is the setting. Cognito Incus, the company behind global conspiracies, isn't a sleek villain lair. It's a cubicle hell. The brilliance is watching Reagan Ridley try to manage things like the Mandela effect while dealing with broken office printers and coworkers who are half dolphin. And it doesn't just pick one conspiracy at all of them. Reptilians run the world. The moon is a projection. The hollow earth exists, and it's basically a corporate dumping ground. But underneath the chaos, it's kind of tragic. Reagan's father is a toxic, alcoholic genius who erased the memory of her only childhood friend so she would focus on science. So Reagan grows up into a high-functioning workaholic mess, brilliant, isolated, and possibly the only person capable of running the world because she's too stressed to quit. It's absurd, it's chaotic, and it's way deeper than it has any right to be. Next, Close Enough. This is pure millennial panic animated. It takes the everyday horror of adulthood bills, parenting, creative failure, and escalates it until reality literally breaks. In this world, worrying you're a bad parent doesn't end in a conversation. It ends in a demonic contract. In this series, trying to get your kid into a good school, it becomes a Mission Impossible level infiltration. Buying sneakers? You've triggered a supernatural spiral. Every episode starts normal. Someone cuts a corner, tells a small lie, makes one "it'll be fine" decision. And by the end, they're fighting a time-traveling Viking or a possessed couch, and that's the genius of it. It captures how small adult problems feel apocalyptic in your head. It nails millennial survival mode, like living in an expensive city, trying to stay creative, still having roommates in your 30s because rent is criminal. Kitchen arguments feel like war zones. Utility bills feel like boss battles. However, money is the real villain. The show natural and real because unlike other animated series, the cast record together in the same room. The final one might be the most insane premise of all. A yakuza punishment that turns into a J-pop idol group. Backstreet Girls, Gokudols. 3 yakuza members mess up. Instead of being executed, their boss forces them to undergo gender reassignment surgery and debut as a sugary sweet idol group to repay their debts. That's the show. And somehow, it works. On the surface, it's absurd, but underneath, it's a brutal satire of the idol industry and consumer culture. It falls into this rare category of suffering comedy, where the humor comes from watching the characters endure relentless psychological torment. And here's the twist. On stage, they're polished, glittery idols. Internally, still furious ex-yakuza. So you get bubblegum pop performances layered over inner mobster rage. The contrast is insane. Even the animation adds to the chaos. It uses stiff, almost PowerPoint-style movement that forces all the focus onto timing and voice acting like a deranged motion comic, and the lore gets weirder. Their idol-obsessed boss personally writes their lyrics. It's messy. It's polarizing. Some call it grotesque. Others call it genius. And it's loosely inspired by real-world shifts that pushed Yakuza into legitimate industries. So yes, it's technically an idol anime, but it might be the most unhinged social satire disguised as glitter pop you'll ever watch.